super dope. Will this be 2 weeks in a row? I guess. That's cool. So we're going to talk about My Hero Academia episode 162 today called The Final Boss. But if you look at the Japanese title, it is spelled like this: RASU. B as in boy, O, S, like Sam or something, U. Rasu Bosu, which to me just sounds like last boss or the final boss if you're going by the American translation. So, without sugarcoating it, there is so much depth in this episode. It was borderline exhausting. I found myself rewinding things like 3 or 4 times at like maybe 2 or 3 different parts of the episode just to make sure that like I understood what I just heard or saw. It's not a complaint. It's actually kind of like a admiration. This is a very densely written show, and watching some of the earlier seasons when you think you see some throwaway stuff. Lady Nigret, I'm looking at you. Something that seems so filler-ish ultimately is factoring into this final stuff that we're seeing. And that is such a testament to this show. So what we'll do is I'm going to read the Wikipedia entry. I tried to do this yesterday, all right? And did not go well. I'll tell you why. I was like, it'll be fun if we do a watch along while I watch it. I'll throw the recorder on. I'll time it up, 3, 2, 1, play, and comment throughout. And I did. I didn't pause anything, so that's cool. But it's basically just me being the obnoxious friend talking through My Hero Academia while you're trying to watch that shit. So I didn't retain as much as I should have. And then I went to like find a synopsis. Wikipedia let me down. But it just wasn't feeling right. But I did record the watch along, so Patreon members, there's like, 6, 10, 8 of you, I forget. There's the watch along there if you want to go time it up. It was a really emotional show, obviously, so I do have a lot of genuine freak out moments, but I just rewatched the episode again, and I have more thoughts about it, which is good because I think watching it the first time, I was just kind of like overwhelmed by the awesomeness of so much of it. Watching it the second time, it helped me appreciate a little bit more of like the respect that they're paying to some of the backstory and Bakugo, obviously. So let's read through. This is a very dense synopsis I'm about to read, but I imagine I'm going to have thoughts almost after every single sentence or two. So we'll see how this goes, okay? Episode 162, The Final Boss. Bakugo blasts himself towards Deku, who proceeds to gear shift and launch him at All Might. Shigaraki mocks that he won't make it, noting that the All Might vestige becoming clearer, indicating his impending death. During the watch along yesterday, they start talking about gear shift, and I'm like, I don't even remember what the fuck that one does. It's not Black Whip, it's not Bubble or Levitate. Like, I don't even know all of Deku's powers anymore. I'm not sure I ever did. But gear shift, I'm not even sure what that one does. That's how I felt yesterday during the watch along. So I looked it up before I watched the episode again. And basically, gear shift, I will read some type of definition to it for you right now. Let's see. Gear shift is a quirk that allows the user to manipulate the speed and trajectory of objects, including themselves. One of the oldest quirks known to humanity, originally belonging to One For All's second user, Kudo. We'll come back to Kudo, I imagine. And if we don't, that means the Wikipedia synopsis is not very well written, and I'm a dumbass. I'm not as smart as you guys think. Very cool. Like last week when I watched this stuff, I was like, oh, I guess Bakugo is going to save him. And it ends up being the combination of the two. They lock eyes. They, I don't know, telepathically make some kind of plan. Deku gear shifts his ass. He explosions all over the place to propel himself, and then Deku gear shifts him, and he gets there like instantly to save All Might. So beautiful. What I will say too, in addition to that, which like I'm not sure if I'm looking into it too much, probably being a dweeb about it, but Deku is able to help him do gear shift without releasing Shigaraki. So Deku and Shigaraki are connected while Deku propels Bakugo to go rescue All Might. Indirectly, right? Indirectly, Shigaraki just kind of helped save All Might. Not really, though, right? He could have stopped it if he wanted, because later in the episode, he breaks out a black whip like it's no big deal and talks some shit to Deku. And it just makes you think, like, he also wants to see if Bakugo can go. Christ, that's a lot of different syllables that sound similar and are easy to confuse and jumble. Shigaraki wants to see if Bakugo can go and fuck up All for One. Whew. All right. Was that like a sobriety test? Is that what I just did? So I just wanted to point that out. Ultimately, I think Shigaraki, because he's been resisting All for One so much throughout these last episodes, he's going to factor into the final decision one way or the other. He too will be a person who helps to rescue All Might. But yeah, Bakugo and Deku teaming up to rescue their ass, rescue their motherfucking teacher's ass. Very nice. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Please extend me some grace. Let's read the next sentence. Indicating his impending death. All right. Yeah. That's right. He's about to, everyone's like, oh, All Might, we see you. You're going to die. Despite this, fueled by the hopes and prayers of everyone begging All Might to be saved, Bakugo blasts forward at insane speeds, ripping the former symbol of peace out of All for One's hands, saving his life and rewriting Sir Night-Eye's vision of death. So I mentioned it last episode, the idea of a nation watching the public death of a person that people either revere or absolutely fucking revile, right? That kind of factors into this episode. And it is very cool to watch some of those scenes because you do get like a general impression of what it means to like a weird fucking 50-year-old man watching TV in the den. And then like little kids and some older people who grew up watching All Might and they don't want him to die. Also, you get some people that you've seen throughout the series. Primarily, I'm thinking of that little redhead kid who like, I don't know, was featured in the news during the Hosu incident when the Bakugo was kidnapped by the League of Villains. I think that's what I'm talking about. Either way, there are a lot of different characters that have been featured throughout the series who pop up during this particular sequence, which I love the callbacks. It's very cool. It's a very, like, even though it's a very long anime, it's a very tightly written anime somehow, whether that's by design from the start or like the author like was really good at going back and referencing or calling back or just wrapping up old things that he kind of left unfinished. Either way, it's kind of an amazing feat. Either way, All Might dying on TV, that shit's a problem. Despite this, fueled by the hopes and prayers, I already read most of this sentence. Oh yeah, the symbol of peace about to die, and that's fucking whack. Saving his like, oh, Sir Night-Eye. All right, so Sir Night-Eye, that's like the third or fourth. I think it's like the fourth season. Is it after the raid on Chiseki's villain compound? That's the intern arc. He, you realize or understand or learn, that's probably the better word, about why Sir Night-Eye and All Might kind of had a falling out. Night-Eye has this vision, which is like his quirk and his power, that All Might's going to die in such a fucking brutal way in front of all these people and blah, blah, blah. And it's like another one of these weird, I think that they're near-death experiences anyway. All Might had one in the last episode where Nana Shimura shows up and he's like, why am I using the last of my consciousness or whatever to, imagine my mentor giving me a free pass on all the boneheaded shit I've done. It felt like another one of those. And then Sir Night Eye shows up and kind of speaks very plainly about like, yeah, but something changed, something got twisted within fate. And then he tries to talk about it from a scientific level that goes way over the fuck my head, you know? It's like energy. It's about energy and propelling it. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck any of this means. So can you get to the next part? And basically it alludes to that something has changed at the end of a story, presumably something to do with the energy of Deku and One for All and Bakugo and I don't know, there's like a lot of symbolism in this one, dude. I'm not gonna lie, like I noticed it, but I don't think I'm qualified enough to really try to speak eloquently about it. So I'm just doing my best here. I'm just being myself. I'm just being myself. All right. Landing on a nearby building, a thread-sized edge shot emerges from Bakugo's body, having used his quirk to repair his body from the inside. Though he also states it was his own explosive sweat that resuscitated him back to life. So yeah, Ed Shot basically gave up his life for Bakugo's, but even if he didn't do what he did, well, maybe it's like a 1-2 thing. All right, so Ed Shot does what he does, repairs the insides of him, and then Bakugo's sweat basically, what's that thing? Defibrillator? Yeah, he defibrillated his ass back to life with his own sweat balls streaming through his blood. I don't know if that's how sweat works. Maybe it is. Again, I'm not a very smart man, but Bakugo's own sweat is what eventually resuscitates him. So that's very cool. Also, Edshot. I presume that you're presume. What's the difference between presume and assume? I don't really know. I'm not gonna Google it though. Is that ADHD shit? You think it could be? Thread tries headshot. Blah blah blah. Resuscitated him back to life. That's right. All Might gives Bakugo the last remnant of his armor, named after him, which gives him a smile. What a beautiful moment. All Might is like, hey man, Blood Curdle got me stuck up over here. Come over here and shake the one hand I can still move, presumably through Blood Curdle. And it's like, for a second, I thought I was going to be like, oh, dude, All Might's about to give the fucking Iron Man armor to Bakugo, which probably would be kind of insulting. Bakugo don't need Iron Man armor, but he gives him like some kind of nanotech thing that wraps up around his arm, and he's like, if anything, it'll work as a splint. It doesn't have its power anymore. So, but when he said his name, which is not written down here, so it's like King God King God Explosion Murder Dynamite. I think that ends with Dynamite, right? Explosion King God Murder Dynamite. One of those must be right. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Rhymes. I guess it was nice to have that moment of because a lot of this is like rooted in Bakugo feeling like he's the one who ended All Might's hero career. So to have Bakugo have this redemption moment where he's not passing on the power of one for all. I'm always gonna get those fucking confused. You know why? The Three Musketeers. And there was a very heavily promoted Three Musketeers movie when I was probably like 10, 11 years old. I think Leonardo DiCaprio was in that shit. Oh, I think it was called The Man in the Iron Mask. Shit, did they do The Man in the Iron Mask and a Three Musketeers movie? Within a few years of each other, and one of the taglines was all for one and one for all, and that's why I can't remember which one is which. Being this old sucks. All right, anyway. All for one, right? He's the evil guy. Yeah, so we don't like him. All one for all. That's the guy we like. That's All Might. So he doesn't actually pass on the power like he does to Deku with all one for all. Excuse me, but he does have that hand-to-hand moment in the transference of this nanotech gear, which I'm not sure if it's ever going to really factor in outside of it'll help him not break his bones. Like I don't know. It'll be cool if it does factor in at a certain point in the future, but it is a very symbolic moment, if not anything else. So I'm all for it. Let's see. Ed shot, blah blah blah. All Might gives the thing. Oh, then Bakugo gets the smile. All right, cool. But here's the thing about the smile. Bakugo's always had a little bit of a psychotic smile or like a little side, side smirk, like a Vegeta smile. Sometimes though, when he gets really into it, it's like a toga smile. Like he's like he's out for blood. But this one felt like a very genuine, I'm happy, thank you kind of smile, as opposed to his psychotic murder, explosion, dynamite, God stuff. So, whatever, heartwarming moment. This is very much his redemption moment for feeling like he's the guy who failed and ultimately ended All Might. He's now going to be the guy to save him and extend his life. The vestige of All Might within All for One for All. There, One for All starts to fade, and Kudo and Shigaraki and Shigaraki's the one who points it out, which I feel like I should understand why, but I don't. But I'm sure there's a reason for it. Somebody tell me in the comments. All right, a couple more sentences left, and by that I mean they are very long sentences. So strap the fuck in. A furious All for One is about to go after them, but changes his mind to refocus on Shigaraki, only for Bakugo to appear before him, declaring himself the final boss. Yeah. So again, is it really going to be like we rewind this dude back to being a baby because all of the heroes take their shots at him and contribute, and it's like a fucking ultimate goddamn allegory? Allegory? I don't know. Metaphor? Who cares? It's like, this is socialism. Everyone contributes to the final fucking goal, and the final goal is whooping your ass. I would love if that's ultimately how this series plays out, and they just rewind him back to a little baby. But All for One very much makes the conscious decision to not fuck with Bakugo and just go try to take over Shigaraki's body and whatever, end this thing, whatever the fucking final version of that looks like. And he keeps talking about getting tripped up on pebbles. And he says it to a point where he's like, I'm not going to risk tripping up on this pebble and like rewinding myself this much more just because of this pebble. Like, pebble. You trip, you fucking fall on a pebble. Unexpected, this small little thing. It just fucking takes you by surprise. That's what this dude's worried about right now, which is probably not a great long-term vision for his overall fucking feeling on how he's going to come out. Either way, he makes the conscious decision to just avoid the pebble. You trip on pebbles, that sucks ass. You twist your ankle, you bust your ACL, you're old fuck. You know what I mean? All those things that certain, men of a certain age, aka my podcast listener demographic, which is like between the ages of I don't know, fucking 25 and 50. I don't even know. I should do some work on the numbers. My point is, he makes the conscious decision to not fuck with Bakugo because he looks at him as a small fish, ultimately not a big threat, but a guy who's definitely having a moment. So he's gonna flee and try to go take over Shigaraki. And Bakugo's like, nah. I'm gonna do this thing where it's like the most anime ass shit, isn't it? It's like every time I do the explosion, my body aches. And when my body aches, I have this moment of, I don't know, you generate more sweat when your body aches for that half a second. So you're using that to make the ultimate explosion. I'm really unsure as to the physics of it, but I'll be honest, I don't fucking care about the physics of it because it's goddamn awesome. Motherfucker blasts off into some fireworks, like a Chinese fucking New Year's fireworks shit. Or a 4th of July fireworks display. Very similar. Big red bitch. Sick as hell. So let's talk about the next sentence, which I don't remember. Oh yeah, he's the final boss, which is Lasu Basu, if you remember the beginning of the episode. While most of the battlefields are wrapping up the heroes dealing with the villains, Shigaraki breaks free of Deku's restraints as the latter uses Gear Shift for the last time, intending to end things now. Because if he does try to use Gear Shift after this, it'll immobilize him for some reason, and he'll be prone to just getting instantly killed by Shigaraki. I do kind of want to talk about the wrap-ups of multiple battlefields. While most of the battlefields are wrapping up with heroes dealing with the villains. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but let's try it out. they say a lot of things very quickly. So what I'm gonna do is pull up Crunchyroll on my phone, and I'm gonna read to you what some of those things were. It is probably around the 17-ish mark of the episode. And like I said, dude, if you are a Patreon member, I did the watch along that I will upload to Patreon for you to, it's like a 3, 2, 1 play kind of deal. And then you can watch along and hear me talk smack. But it's basically immediately after the eye catch. It's around it's the 14:42 mark if you're in Crunchyroll. So I'm going to watch this and then just read basically the lines for the next couple of minutes. I'm probably going to hit pause in between each of them and just say whatever I might have to say about them. Some of them I probably won't have shit to say about because I don't remember all the goddamn finer points of the show because there's so many to remember. Don't know why I'm singing to you, but I meant it. So give me a second and we'll get to it. All right. First line. This is Investigation HQ reporting to all points. Great explosion, murder god Dynamite succeeded in rescuing All Might. Great explosion, murder god Dynamite. I should really commit that to memory. Next line. Request a status report from each location. Yes, sir. The riot in front of the central hospital has been fully suppressed. Its leader, Spinner, has been restrained. Triage has begun for the injured as well as the transfer of those arrested. So I kind of remember Spinner becoming like a giant monster when he was doing his thing, which was cool. I don't remember how it ended, and I feel like a goddamn fraud, but him coming out as a normal sized lizard man again in his emo purple hair, it's like, bro, go fucking start a My Chemical Romance tribute band. I'm sure it would do well in a regional scene. All right. The high ends on Akuto Island have been neutralized. The battle is over. The recovery team is rushing to the scene. Oh, that's gang orca shit. Things are all... Ooh, I accidentally rewinded the shit 10 seconds. Things are also under control where the split-up plan was launched. They're extracting in the process and extricating the wounded. Fighting is ongoing at Tokuba National Stadium, which the next line is, they seem to be having trouble against the jailbreaker Gashly's saturation attacks. So it's Ojiro, the man with the big tail, Sugarman, Sato, I want to say is his name. It's Sero, Tape Man. So those three motherfuckers, and then they got Lady Dragoon. Is that her name? Or is it just Dragoon? Can't remember. Giant kaiju lady. She's involved at a certain point. I remember all these characters, but like I really can't remember why, or like sometimes like where they factor in the most. I'm like, oh, this guy was in the first few episodes, and cool that they're involved again now. I don't know. I think it's Lady Dragoon though, and if it is, good for me. Let's see. Mr. Skeptic is currently in transit along with the heroes who apprehended him. Cool, he's a prick. Evacuation of Shiketsu High using UA's evacuation system is complete. Personnel have been dispatched to protect evacuees in the section to stop moving. Things are under control at the site of Jakku Hospital. Kitogiri is still accounted for, as are Eraserhead and Present Mike. I think this is exactly why I wanted to read these lines line by line, because it kind of does give, like, if you don't remember and you want to like still express the scale of the ongoing incident, you have this scene where it's like, look at all the shit that's already happened. If you want to go back and watch it in season fucking 7, you should, because it's all very cool. This is all the stuff that's already been wrapped up. Here's some of the stuff that still is ongoing. And here is something that we don't know where it's going to go one way or the other. Hiragiri, Eraserhead, and Present Mike, like, fucking Eraserhead, dude, he like lost a leg or an eye or I think he lost a leg, right? Yeah, fucking cut his leg off, I think. Like, him and Present Mike to go to that hospital to go try to reconnect with their boy who's been brainwashed for the last however long. It's heartwarming and it's touching, and it gives, you know what it makes you feel like? Feels like an 80s movie. Like, yeah, man, our boy turned into a zombie, but we can rehabilitate him. Somebody write that 80s film. Maybe it exists. Should put that into AI. I don't like AI. I think it's stupid and is dumbing us all down and is a tremendous waste on the resources of the world. Look up how much water data centers use. But also, I'm very much convinced that the data centers using all that energy, it's not just us. They're just blaming it on us. I'm sure a lot of it is used for private businesses and military, and they're just like, you motherfuckers in your cat videos, you know? Also, pornos. What are all the great technological fucking advances based off of? You look it up, most of the time it's pornos. Anyway, what's gonna happen with what's gonna happen with Kuragiri or Razorhead and Present Mike? I think there's a couple more lines in this, and then we can round out the rest of the synopsis. No, we won't. Lady Nagrin, at the end of this all-out battle, will have to trust in Izuku Midoriya. This is what I was talking about before. Lady Nagrin gets fucking brought up, and I'm sure she's gonna factor into the ultimate thing somehow. She's gonna snipe somebody in the fucking eyeball at just the right time. That'd be cool. But like, we get this little cool flashback, and I said it last week. This show is so effective at reusing old footage in a way that continues to prop up the narrative. I actually was thinking about this a little bit more earlier, and I think this is why I had a tough time trying to read the manga. The manga sometimes feels very much like this. And imagine it from a visual, like an anime visual, where it's like you have a lot to keep up with and a lot to engage with and a lot to remember. Now imagine it just, you know, straight panels on the written page. If you don't remember who the fuck Lady Negra and Rocklock is right now, and this is how they chose to present it in the manga, I'm not sure that it is, but it wouldn't shock me. The thing that tripped me up about the manga is the constant like flashbacks and references to older things. And I'm like, where the fuck am I right now? Am I in the current, past, or present? Current, past, or present? You know what I'm saying? It's a little jarring sometimes, especially in a scene like this where you're moving between like 6 or 7 different points that ultimately contribute to the end of this story. But it's a lot to remember all the details of. And then you have the anime presented in a way like this, which I think helps in a television setting. I don't think it helped me in a written setting. Either way, Rocklock, how you doing, man? You have a little yellow mask and very cool hair. And you're cool. I like you. Yeah, and then Deku has the little flashback of Deku saying, please play with us. Very good. Very good, very cool. I'm pretty sure that's the end of me having to read subtitles. She sees a big old explosion. And is it Bakugo going to catch up so fast? I see you're getting a little preview of me doing the watch along last night, huh? All right. Intending to end things now. Oh, that's right. If Deku uses gear shift, it'll end things now. Okay. Let's see. Offer one. Try I just talked about so many of this stuff, and then I'm gonna read it again just for sake of continuity. Offer one tries to ignore Bakugo and continues towards One for All, seeing the young hero as just another mere pebble. But thanks to understanding how his explosion quirk works, Bakugo is able to keep up with the villain, increasingly infuriated. Oh shit, hold on. I didn't notice there was a period. Is my eyesight getting this bad? Understanding how his explosion works. Bakugo was able to keep up with the villain. Period. Got it. Increasingly infuriated, All For One keeps seeing flashes of the second user in Bakugo, the one he truly hates the most. The Merst. Accidentally calling him Kudo in outrage. So it plays into the earlier stuff about gear shift. Last episode, they mentioned gear shift. I don't remember what the fuck that one even does. Never mind the guy who originally used gear shift and is now responsible for being the ghost of gear shift in Deku's brain. But there's a reason they brought it up, which is good. If there wasn't a reason, I'd be like, how much stuff do you expect me to remember? But Kudo being the guy who ultimately takes on the One for All power from the original holder, which is One for All's brother. he's the guy who like helped his brother live on and escape, which is why One for All, or excuse me, All for One. Why do I get them confused? Because of the Three Musketeers. All for One could have ended his brother right then and there and just ruled the fucking world. And the reason he hasn't is because One for All, there we go, is passed on user to user. The power cultivates, All Might eventually happens, and now we're dealing with Izuku Midoriya. So he curses out the fact that a second user ever existed the most, more than anybody, more than his brother even. And that's a kind of a powerful kind of place for One for All. Damn it, All for One to be coming from. The enraging feeling that he has that Kudo and Bakugo look very similar with their pointy fucking hair. Kudo's hair is kind of pink. Bakugo's is blonde. It's so goddamn perfect. The fact that Bakugo is always racing from behind, and today he's the fastest motherfucker in the world, and he's asking himself as he does it, can I catch up to you? And he's enraging All for One in such a way that he's like having this mental breakdown. And you could probably contribute some of that to the fact that he's regressing, probably, not only physically, but mentally as well. Like, he remembers his plan and shit, but like he's in the body of a child now. We'll say, well, what, early teens maybe? Does he have the mind of an early teenager? Like, he still has the memories, but like, does he still have like the natural fucking natural? I say natural. What I mean is like, teenagers are kind of nuts and unpredictable sometimes. Is that the sort of thing that we're dealing with right now? Is his childishness, there we go, factoring into the ultimate downfall right now? I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode, and we'll see how this continues. It seems like KACCHAN, who reveals himself at the end of the episode, it doesn't say this in the synopsis, which I think is kind of whack. I should just write my own, but I'm a little lazy, boys, and that's a lot to write. If you write my synopsis, it's like 5 pages long. What the fuck do you think I do all day? Not much, but I'm not writing 5 pages worth of shit. I'm not that cool. End of the episode, the kid declares himself. He's like, Kudo, what are you, fucking nuts? I'm not some dude named Kudo. My name's KACCHAN Bakugo. And he embraces the name, finally, of KACCHAN that Deku gave him. It's so beautiful. The only fucking people who remember him during that news, not news, but like everyone's watching him on the news, and they're like, isn't that the kid who got restrained at the sports festival? Isn't that the kid who got kidnapped? And then you see those 2 little kids who I think are from the first My Hero movie with the big hat. Maybe it's the second one. It's probably the second one. Yeah, because that's the one where they share the power at the end, right? Those 2 little kids are from that movie. You don't see them in the anime. The fact that they threw them in there for 2 fucking seconds just for the little girl to say, that's Bakugo, because nobody can remember his ridiculously long hero name. Ah, what a beautiful goddamn moment. Whole episode is beautiful. I don't want to say it's easy to forget how well this show is written, but I do just want to acknowledge again, and I'm not sure where it comes from. I'm not sure if Horikoshi is a dude who planned from the beginning all the way to the end, or if he was a dude who like threw out a million different fucking interesting plot points throughout these 20 fucking students in class 1A and All Might and the Heroes, and just was really good on coming back to them at a certain point in time when the narrative called for it to wrap those things up. I don't know which it is. Either way, it is brilliant, and it's like really hard to overstate. According to the internet, I haven't watched enough anime in my life, and that's true. And I'll tell you why. I don't fucking care. But every now and again, a story or something will hook me in such a way that I can't help but become borderline obsessed with it. And that's my intro into Ted Lasso. I'm going to talk about Ted Lasso for 2 weeks in a row. I was watching this My Hero Academia episode today, and I seriously thought of Ted Lasso. And not so much this specific episode, but My Hero Academia as a whole. I think if there were a Ted Lasso in the My Hero Academia world, it's probably All Might. Or it could be Deku, but it's probably All Might. And it is so much about like everyone trying to improve themselves for the better of everyone else, everyone working together to achieve the ultimate goal, which even factors into this episode we watched today and some of my theories about how ultimately all for one, damn it, all for one ultimately will be defeated. Like the power of friendship, the power of everybody fucking taking their shot one by one, and he rewinds back to the little baby bitch that he is. A lot of Ted Lasso is kind of revolves around those themes. Like it's not about one person, it's about all of us. The general idea of just continuously trying to get better and asking for help and relying on others when you need it. It's a beautiful television show, as is My Hero Academia. And I'm not saying they're exact parallels of one another, but I'll say like they're maybe, I don't want to say first cousins. I'll say second cousins. So it's like my mom's cousin, Kyle, Jackie, or Ashley, Victoria, and Vanessa. Like, we're like kind of close in proximity, but like not entirely. What's up, Mac? How's your juice? Yeah, you get more? Is there more than one juice?
Yeah.
Come on.
Fridge full of juice now.
Oh, that shit's gonna be good. Anyway, I had to cut myself off for some juice. Gonna do it for this episode of My Hero Superdopia. What the fuck's this thing called? Boku no Hero Superdopia. Superdope Plus Ultra. That's what it is, I guess. Still just gonna be on the Superdope feed. Obviously, the old My Hero feed is since been shut down, but I'm pretty sure it's still on Spotify. So if you want to go listen to me and Kelly do a few seasons worth of My Hero, older episodes, I think we do seasons like 4, 5, and 6, maybe. I don't even know. 3, 4, and 5, 5, 4, and 7. 98 Degrees is a boy band from the early 90s that often competed with other boy bands like NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, O-Town, etc. There's a link in the show notes if you want to go listen to Superdope Plus Ultra. Gonna raise my hand with a peace sign. Please don't be a dickhead. Cool.